The Luxembourg summit, a day of wrangling, ends with agreement on single currency policy. Agreement on a plan to speed up peace talks at a meeting between the Taoiseach and Tony Blair. Brixton jail escaper Nessun Quinlivan walks free from the Special Criminal Court. And Irish prison inmates have the second highest HIV rate in Europe. Good evening and welcome. European Union leaders meeting in Luxembourg have resolved their differences over how to coordinate economic policy once monetary union is launched. It's understood that regular meetings between EU finance ministers will continue to be the main forum for decision-making. The leaders also agreed to launch the process of enlarging the union. They're to meet 11 applicant countries next spring before moving on to formal negotiations with at least 6 of them.
Even before today's discussions got underway, Tony Blair looked tired. As the day wore on, the British leader discovered it's going to be difficult to have Britain at the heart of EU decision-making if it stays outside the single currency.
The question arises as to the countries who are participating in the Eurozone, called the INS, have they the right to meet and discuss items which will be just relating to their particular concerns?
4 countries won't be part of monetary union from the outset: Britain, Sweden and Denmark by choice, and Greece because it's unable to meet the entry conditions. Today the French led the argument that membership of the committee overseeing single currency policy should be confined to those who agree to participate in monetary union.
The outs have to take into consideration that the ins may feel that sometimes they have the need to discuss, how could I say, intimately, the problems which are proper, which are particular to the in countries.
After several hours haggling, a compromise was agreed tonight. It's accepted all countries will have an input to EU economic policy decisions, but it's also agreed single currency discussions will be confined to monetary union participants. This may seem like one more foolish row about Eurobabble, but at the heart of the British stance is the fear that by staying outside the single currency club, they're placing themselves on the slippery slope that will lead to the B division in a 2-tier Europe. And as if to emphasise the changing nature of the Union, tonight it was agreed that formal membership negotiations can start with 5 Eastern European countries and Cyprus next spring. 5 other former communist countries will also be admitted, but over a longer period. Tommy Gorman, RTE News, Luxembourg.
The Taoiseach and the British Prime Minister have agreed a 10-week programme to speed up the talks process after Christmas. Following their meeting in Luxembourg, which ended in the past half hour, the Taoiseach told RTE they had also reached agreement on the transfer of prisoners.
Following the extension of those crisis EMU negotiations, the meeting between the Taoiseach and the British Prime Minister was further postponed. It ended in the past half hour. I asked the Taoiseach if they had reached particular agreement.
Yes, we had an opportunity to look back on what's happening in the multi-party talks and to look at the key issues that we hope will be agreed on Tuesday next and the formats for moving those forward. What we are determined to do and what we agreed tonight was that we would put our total effort after the Christmas period in the second week of January on for what we reckon will be about a 10-week period, a 10-week working period, where we will try to flesh out these key areas, to do as much possible work as we can, and very much put the 2 governments driving the agenda as much as we possibly can do.
What about the area of prisoners?
Yes, next week we will finish the transfer of prisoners in Dáil Éireann. It's been through the Shannon. We hope that some of the warrants would then be dealt with by the High Court, a matter for them, of course. And in that case, we would imagine that we get quite a number of prisoners transferred back. The dates on that, of course, I can't be certain. But we have agreements tonight that we will certainly move on that, and we'll see more action. We've had 3 or 4 transferred in the last week or so, but we're going to see more than that transferred over the next few weeks.
If the leaders can agree the actual issues next week in the actual talks, what precisely did you agree in terms of the methodology you'll use to progress them?
Well, I think what's clearly going to happen, if they can on Tuesday agree, then it requires us to try to take that and to move them out from just heads or issues or areas of agreement, and to try to work those through working towards what we all want, a comprehensive agreement dealing with all of the issues. It is our determination that we have been through the talks at this level, which has been very useful since the 25th of September. But now it needs momentum, it needs a push from us, and we're certainly going to do that.
A fire at London's Heathrow Airport this morning caused widespread disruption to flights. The fire began in the roof space above